Shalom. Hey man, first and foremost, I'd like to give infinity honors to our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'ashim Rekakudash. A double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you brothers that's doing the truth, sincerely and not for vainglory. My name is Priest Hawan Mayam. I represent the Shepherds of Berea camp out here in Atlanta, Georgia. And the name of this sit down is going to be called We Have Love for the Jews, but we hate Esau. We have love for Jews, we hate Esau. And I know that might sound kind of crazy, but let's go into what's going on.
Amid reports of anti-Jewish incidents at many of those protests, in Washington, the House has passed legislation creating a broader definition of anti-Semitism, and the change is meant to help the Department of Education enforce its anti-discrimination laws. That proposal passed 320 to 91 with bipartisan support. It would codify a formal definition of anti-Semitism in Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The language would also broaden the legal definition of anti-Semitism to include targeting Israel. Critics say the change could harm free speech on college campuses. It now heads to the Senate.
So you see that right there? Is that a bill is being passed, brothers, okay? A bill is being passed about broadening to make it broader the legal definition on what anti-Semitism, all right? And they said they got 320 votes, I think to 91, I think. So what that means is that, man, they about to make an attack on brothers, man. And myself, having law enforcement background, I'm telling brothers right now, brothers need to be mindful of what they say. You know what I'm saying? Brothers need to be mindful of how they conduct themselves, because Esau's getting desperate. He know, but he got but a short time. Now, since we on the topic of being anti-Semitic, right? So-called blacks, Native Americans, West Indians, Puerto Ricans, goes on and on, Mexicans, we had no part to do with the Holocaust, all right? The people that call themselves the so-called Jews, right? We had nothing to do with the Holocaust, but they had everything to do with our Holocaust. And now it's almost like they weaponize social media. They're using AI technology to call everything a conspiracy theory, But the so-called Jews, they had a part to do in our slave trade, and this is fact. So they are giving reparation for what happened to them in Germany, and we not knocking that, you know what I'm saying? The reparation that they're getting for what happened to their Holocaust. But that reparation that they getting, they should take that reparation and give it to you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because they had a part to do in our slave trade. Now I'm gonna read this article. It's called Jewish Heritage, North Carolina. I'm going to the second paragraph. It says the history of Jewish South, including North Carolina, suggests that perhaps we might have a good reason for discomfort. The pioneering scholar of American Jews and slavery, Rabbi Bertram Cohen, observed that any Jew who could afford to own slaves and had need for their service would do so, okay? So-called Jews are guilty for owning slaves in America, man, all right? It says that point has been validated by research which shows that Southern Jews as slaveholders vary little from their neighbors of similar class and location. Thus, in 1830, in Charleston, 83% of Jews owned slaves, while 87% of Christians did so. So y'all had a part to do with our Holocaust, talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Historians now emphasize that slavery, far from being the peculiar custom of South, was linked undeniably to global capitalism. The New York financiers who underwrote the cotton economy, including firms like the Lehman Brothers, supported the plantation system, counting investments in slaves as collateral, man. Okay? It says North Carolina early Jews certainly did not quarrel with slavery. The Newport Sephardic merchant Aaron Lopez, all right, who sent 37 cargo ships to North Carolina from 1761 to 1775, included slaves among his merchandise of rum, mules, and wine. All right? So you had so-called Jews that was involved in our slave trade. Okay? And once again, I'm telling brothers how to say this because we do got love for the Jews. All right? We do got love for the nation of Israel. So that's a way you can let people know, no, somebody come to you and say, no, man, how you feel about them people that live in Israel? Like you said, listen, we got love for the Jews because we know Israel is scattered abroad, right? Khan, right? So we could say that. We have love for the Jews. He says, but we hate Esau. Now, if they be like, are you trying to say that Esau is in Israel? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I don't have a DNA system. I didn't do a DNA reference. I'm just telling you that we have love for the Jews up here because you better believe they about to start sending agents amongst brothers to get them on camera, to get them saying certain things, to demonize them, man. All right? But who is there to demonize them on their involvement in the slave trade? 83%. And that's just in Charleston, South Carolina. It said extended family members served his interests in ports like New Bern and Wilmington. All right? The Mordecais of Warrenton, who arrived in 1791, were scholarly, enlightened Jews, proprietors of a renowned female academy and synagogue storeworks. But they were also slave owners. You see that? They was also slave owners, man. You see that? It says Washington Lazarus in 1830 owned 30 slaves while his brother Gershon owned 5. In coastal Beaufort, Joel Henry, a rabbi's son, was listed with 10 slaves. His son, Jacob Henry, elected to the state legislature in 1808, delivered a stirring defense of liberty when his right to serve as a Jew was challenged, but his eloquent defense of freedom did not prevent him from owning 12 slaves. So here it is, the people that was supposedly getting discriminated on, right? These are the people that's crying foul now. They own slaves. When Abraham Moses of Waxhaw filed his will in Mecklenburg County in 1821, he left his wife Nancy, his Negroes John and Betty, and his daughter Esther, the Negro wench Violet. He also left $25 to the Charleston Synagogue. In 1830, Isaac Hems and Company of Mecklenburg County owned 13. So it's funny how they are being protected. Hey, but that's scriptural, man. They're able to be protected, man. Now, I'm going to jump real quick before I get to the meat and potatoes of the sit down. And even that is meat and potatoes of the sit down, right? This is Sirach 13:3. And I'm going to read this in the G&T. This is the Good News Translation, right? It says, if a rich person wrongs someone, he can afford to add insult to injury. And that's what they're doing by even, oh, you can't say nothing about us. Oh, but where was all that energy when y'all benefited from the slave trade? You over here adding insult to injury. They could pop shit and nothing could happen to them. They could wrong someone. You see that? They could wrong someone. He can afford to add insult to injury. The audacity in you to talk about you're being preyed upon. You're being victimized. And where was that energy when you was enslaving people? Huh? In Charleston, South Carolina, where my family is from. In Mecklenburg County. I got family that still lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. Huh? It says, but if a poor person is wrong, right? Like us, we is forced to apologize for himself. So here it is, we've been wrong, and we got to be the ones to apologize. We got to be the ones to stand up with you and join side to side with your fight with Palestine. We have nothing to do with that, man. We have absolutely nothing to do with that, man. This is Sirach 13:21. I'm going to jump from the 3rd verse to the 21st verse. It says, when a rich person stumbles, his friend will steady him. They're going to help him up. They're going to make sure that he don't stumble. Here it is. These so-called Edomites are losing their strongholds on the people's mind, and everybody is fighting against them, and they realizing that they are the influence of oppression. They are causing all the problems in the earth. And there's nothing It's only going to pick up more and more. Okay? It says when a rich person stumbles, his friends will steady him. But if a poor person falls, his friends will have nothing to do with him. You see? When we fell, where was NATO at? Where was all these lawmakers? Huh? Where was all these bills being passed to protect so-called blacks, Native Americans, man? West Indians, man. Where was that at? We didn't have nobody to hold us up. We had to put on our big boy pants and deal with it, man. It says, verse 22, it says, when someone rich makes a mistake, there are many people to cover up for him, like they're doing now. All these legislations and bills passed and politicians that they put in office, they're protecting them. How about we address what y'all did in slavery? There are many people to cover up for him and explain away all the things he never should have said. You see? But let someone poor make a mistake and he gets nothing but criticism. You see? Even if what he says makes good sense, nobody will listen, man. See that? Nobody's going to listen, man. That's why ain't nobody going to listen to Yahweh Shah come back, man. That's when everybody going to have respect for you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites scattered abroad, man. Verse 23, last precept. When a rich person speaks, everyone is silent. Everybody's quiet. Because now you're understanding, right? Who the people that run this earth? Those are the ones that you can't say nothing about. You could talk about everything on the planet Earth. Here it is, you got Drake and Kendrick Lamar battling. They talking about each other like dogs. Like dogs. But you can't say nothing about this man and all his injustice, everything he did, all his injustices, his oppression, his hypocrisy. He wants to talk about his Holocaust, but not shine a mirror on himself to show that he played a part in somebody else's Holocaust. You see that? When a rich person, verse 23, when a rich person speaks, everyone is silent and they praise him to the skies for what he says. But let a poor person speak and everybody says, who is this? They push him down if he so much as stumble, man. See that? This man's words is exalted to the heavens, man. Okay? You got a whole bunch of crisis actors going up on these college campuses, acting a damn fool. All right? At the same time, this man is letting Palestinians, immigrants come into this country. They giving them jobs. This place is hypocritical, man. And it's going to be destroyed, man. Okay? Because people look at this man's words as golden, man. Now, here's the article. House passes bill aimed to combat anti-Semitism amid college unrest. It says, I'm just going to go to, it says the bill passed with 320 to 91 votes. 70 Democrats and 21 Republicans voted against the measure. All right? It says the international group defines anti-Semitism as a certain perception of Jews. All right? A certain perception of Jews. So they passing laws because they don't want you to link them together as, like, you know how say people say they control the world and stuff like that. When they actually do, they control the music industry. When you look at the head of global for YouTube, you're gonna see Leo Cohen there. When you look at all the owners of the NBA team, you're gonna see Jim Dolan. You're gonna see Amalek running that, Esau running that. You go to the Diamond District, you're gonna see Esau running that. Walking up and down the Diamond District, over there by 6th Avenue, Avenue of Americas, with a trench coat on, bulletproof vest on, with $2 million worth of diamonds in his damn suitcase. You're going to see that. I lived in New York. I seen it with my own eyes. But yet they don't want to be put in a box and say that they run it, when everybody can see that they run it. So they changing their last names. You see? As a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. So when you show movies of black people time in and time out being gang members, time in and time out being drug dealers, time in and time out being jail babies. We can't speak up about that. We just the butt of the jokes, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. You don't think that's hatred towards blacks, Native Americans, man? That you could put us in the media any way you want. You could show our women shaking their behind any way they want, and gives example of the definition application, which includes accusing Jews as people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group, and making dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such or the power of Jews as collectives. These people are nuts, man. The imagery that they put, color purple, just dogging out the black man, dogging out the so-called Hispanic man. And now they getting to taste their own medicine and they don't like it, man. Okay? I'm going to go down to some more, see if I can find some more on this. Let me see. It was one joint that I seen in this article. Check this out. This is a Jewish student. Her name is Elena Golden, a junior at Columbia in Jewish Theological Seminar, said the escalation of protests on around her campus made her feel unsafe. I know many people who have been harassed because they wear a Jewish star necklace. So what about the many people that your forefathers helped enslaved just for the color of their skin? Golden was one student who received a message from Rabbi Eli Buchler of Columbia a week ago. The events of the last few days have made it clear that Columbia University Public Safety and NYPD cannot guarantee Jewish students. Now look what this demon going to say. Golden said that she was a part of an interaction that got a lot of online attention of someone yelling at her and others to go back to Poland, right? She said she was disappointed in the reaction from the broader Columbia community, even though the person was likely not a student, okay? I do think if someone were to say go back to Africa to a black student, it would one be abhorrent, Golden said. Now, what the hell does African Americans got to do with it, man? You see, they want us to be their cheerleaders. And the fact that we not saying nothing, that's pissing them off. You see Palestine, why y'all talking about us? And correctly, the entire Columbia student body would feel outraged at that, and we would all be able to rally around it. But of course, when someone says go back to Poland to a Jew, we don't feel the same outrage and the same unity against that, because that's where you need to be going, man. All right? If there are black students who claim to experience racism, we rightly respect their experience. The same would be true for Latino students. The same would be true for Asian students, but you don't, because you never address the wrongdoings that you did, man. Okay? Let me go down. Says, I heard we want all Zionists off campus. I heard death of Zionist state, death to Zionists. And as a Jew, I feel Zionism and Judaism can be teased apart with tremendous amount of care and compassion and knowledge. But it's also just a dog whistle that people use when they're talking about the Jews. So, hey, brothers, man, they moving in, man. They moving in. And I want to make it clear that we love the Jews, all right? And when I say Jews, y'all brothers understand what I'm talking about. The Southern tribe, okay? All right? We hate Edomites. We hate Esau, okay? And this was a cool article, man, I read, man. Not trying to be long-winded about anything, but they are weaponizing and taking away the freedom of speech. And eventually you won't be able to say nothing. But it says right here, the Amendment 1 of the Constitution was ratified December 15, 1791. It is most commonly recognized for its protection of freedom of speech, religion, the press, and making complaints and requests to the government. The official text of the amendment is written as such: Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, all right, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, all right? So you shouldn't be able to stop nobody's speech, man, or of press, or the right of people peaceably to assemble. and the petition of government of a redress of grievance, man. All right? But we understand what, man? That this is all going to lead to brothers' freedom of speech is getting taken away. This is all going to lead to brothers getting thrown in jail, okay? And I just want to make it clear, man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah dealt with this, man. All right? Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't do that. Shalom, brothers. I know y'all got the truth. Eve start coming up to the camp. People start, yo, I know you got the truth. Ak, and Akwath. How you feel about those Jews that stole our land and our identity? They control the world, right, brother? Come on. And that's when you got to say, hey, brother, I don't know what you're trying to imply, brother, but we love the Jews here. But we all know in the truth in this walk what that means. But we hate Esau. So you got to be careful on how these people are going to try to play you because they watching you, man. All right? They're going to send people amongst you. They're going to ask questions. They're going to walk around with the Israeli flag on. That happened to us probably like 3 months ago. You know, dudes walk past with the Israeli flag on, you know, asking us questions. We say, hey, man, we don't got no problem with y'all. We just want to be left alone, you know. But from now on, we love the Jews and we hate Esau. And that represents the southern tribe, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You brothers know what we're talking about, okay? We got to learn to start speaking in codes, man. All right? We got to codify speech, man. No more Jews talk. We talking about Esau and Edom. See, they're gonna put themselves in a box to the point where they're gonna have to talk about Esau and Edom. You know? They're gonna have to talk about Esau and Edom, man. All right? I got a precept real quick. This is the book of Matthew 10 and 16. It says, Salakia. Book of Matthew 10 and 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. You know how crazy that is, man? To be sent as a sheep in the midst. That word midst. Let me get that word real quick. That word midst, it means, looking it up right now. It says the middle point. So imagine you being a sheep being sent in the midst of wolves. More than one. You know how crazy that picture would look, man? All right? The shepherd is supposed to protect the sheep, you know? Well, why would you put us in harm danger like that, you know? That's danger. To put the sheep don't have no type of aggressiveness, you know, it don't have no attributes of, you know, fangs, venom, you know, laser beams coming out of sheep has no defense mechanism, man, other than bah, making noises, man, calling for the shepherd, man. It says, but be ye therefore wise as a serpent. Okay? You brothers got to learn how to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, man. Brothers got to get more cunning. Brothers got to get more cunning. You got to be more crafty in your speech. You got to be more crafty in your movements. You can't be predictable. It says, beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, right? Because that's what they're eventually going to do. This is going to be all, they making these laws to deliver us up to the councils, just like Yahweh Shai. And they will scourge you in their synagogues. And a lot of brothers are going to get beat down. Okay? And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake. That's going to happen. For the sake of Yahweh Shai, right? For a testimony against them and the Gentiles, man. For them and the Gentiles, man. All right? I just want to show y'all example on what brothers are saying, what the Holy Spirit is saying to the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, because me, myself, having understanding in law enforcement, you know, these people are very slick in what they say, you know. You got to be mindful. You got to guard your tongue, all right? You got to move crafty. You got to move subtle like a serpent, man, all right? But at the same time, you got to be harmless of a dove. You got to make it where a dove and combining the attitude of a dove and combining the attitude of a serpent, a snake, man. You got to have those qualities, man. It says Matthew 22 and 15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk, man. So when you read that in Matthew 22 and 15, then the Pharisees met together to plot how to trap Yahweh Shai into saying something for which he could be arrested. So these laws about being anti-Semitism, you better believe eventually is going to lead to people getting arrested. They're gonna curve the tongue, and you know how brothers is prophesied. They might even stop publicly reading the Bible. Might be illegal, man. So we got to know how to move with motion and flow, fluidity, and counter, you know? Verse 16, and they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians saying, so these Pharisees was bitch made, man. You feel me? Why, if you got a problem with Yahweh Shah, why are you sending out other men? Huh? Why are you sending out other men if you got a problem with Yahweh Shah? And they sent out him their disciples with the Herodians. Now, when you go into the understanding of the Pharisees, I just want to read an article right here. It says the Pharisees were the religious leaders of a local synagogues. They showed people how to keep the law. They were very strict. They taught the Jews hundreds of small rules about the right way to live. The Pharisees carefully followed all these rules themselves. They expected everyone else to do the same. In fact, they avoided anyone who did not follow the laws exactly as they did. The Pharisees called people sinners and kept well away from them. The Pharisees did not cooperate with the Romans because the Romans did not follow God's law. The Pharisees ignored the Romans and concentrated on practicing their religion. They looked forward to the day when the Jews would be free of Roman rule. But it's funny because now here the Pharisees is linking up with the Herodians. Now, how is that possible? Huh? How you friends with our enemies? Don't that make you an enemy? Huh? So a lot of the Pharisees, they was enemies of the Most High, man. All right? They was able to put away all their differences that they had with Herod, you know, at that time, I think Tiberius, and then after Tiberius came Caligula. All right? At that time, Tiberius was ruling, man. Okay? But it's funny how they was able to put all their differences aside, man. These were some real demonic, coon-ass niggas, man. Saying master. See, they're using all these flattery words. Master, shalom, brother. Master, we know that thou art true and teachest the way of God in truth, neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. You see? So they're using all these flattery terms, man. And that's where you gotta have subtlety. You gotta be crafty. You gotta know that these people are full of shit when they come up there. Hey, brother, I want to ask you a question about them Jews that stole our land, brother. You got to know that these guys is being phony, man. You know? You never see them out. Your first time seeing them, they look weird, their energy's weird. All right? Because one thing about an informant, they can't fake it, especially when you're being righteous. They need you to be wicked in order for it to work. Verse 17, Matthew 22 and 17. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? So he asks him, yo, is it right to pay taxes? Right? Now, when they doing this, you got to think of the scene. You got disciples from the Pharisees. They really just trying to catch Yahweh Shah in his words, for they could report and get him arrested. They asked him, should you pay taxes? Now, what is the penalty on taxes? It says fraud and tax evasion. The tax dictates that if you're convicted, you may be fined up to $100,000 and sent up to jail up to 5 years. You see that? So that's really all they focusing on. You see? That's all they focusing on. Find a way how to trap you. They got people and agents there acting like they cool, and the disciples, they want to get taught, calling him a teacher, but you don't got respect for Yahweh Shah. Why are you trying to set him up? It says, but Yahweh Shah perceived their wickedness. You brothers got to perceive people wickedness, man. Perceive their wickedness. And said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites, man? Now, when you read verse 18 in the NLT, it says, but Yahweh Shah knew their evil motives. You hypocrites, he said, why are you trying to trap me? You see that? So you got to perceive their wickedness, man. You got to pray that the Most High increase your perception of people' real intentions, man. It says, Yahweh Shah says, show me the tribute money, and they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, who is this image and subscription, man? Okay? Who is this image and subscription? Meaning, who faces on this dollar bill? Who faces on this coin, this shekel? Huh? Who? It says, they say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. Now, when you read verse 21 in the NOT, I'm going to start using the NOT more. It says, I'm going to read verse 19. Here, show me the coin used for the tax. When they handed him a Roman coin, he asked who picture and title are stamped on it. Caesar's, they replied. Well, then he said, give to Caesar and what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. You see? So really, they was trying to trap him up. All right? But Yahweh Shah was able to see through the bullshit, man. Now, you got to think, it was people that probably was there listening that was feeling Yahweh Shah at that point. But when they heard what Yahweh Shah said, it was like, man, what the hell? What you mean we got to pay taxes? Because they actually, the so-called Jews back then, the real Jews, they hated paying taxes to the Romans, man. They hated it with a passion. Verse 22, when they heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way, man. Okay? They marveled and went their way, man. All right? And when you go into that word, they might entangle in the blue of the Bible, right? It says to ensnare and trap of birds, of the attempt to elicit from some remark which can be turned into an accusation against him. Okay? That was going to be used as an accusation, man. All right? You got a lot of these dudes, they in that spirit now. That's why you see these guys, blacks for Trump. These bug outs. Look at this dude.
Joining us, we just want to have a sense of why.
This brother's clearly Northern tribe, Native American, Reuben, all right, or Gad, all right, or Naphtali, one of them. Look at this brother, man. And you got blacks up here, vote for Trump, man.
You decided to be here today, and what this proceedings or arraignment that is going to happen in a few hours mean to you as a black for Trump?
Well, what it means to me is give me liberty or give them death. It means I'm demanding freedom. I demand.
You could clearly see this brother is give me liberty or give them death. Look at these guys, man. They clearly not in a right state of mind.
Equity. This whole thing is unfair because everything that Jack Smith is charging Trump with, Biden is guilty of 300 times worse. Going into the Capitol and all of that's fake. That's people's house. We're supposed to be able to go in there anyway. That's the first problem. And then for them to say that Trump said something out of his mouth when they know the Presidential Act says even a congressman, a senator like Adam Schiff lied. All these lies. He got the evidence. He got this. Bush lied.
When I talk to you about the indictment.
Look at this brother. Look at these eyes right here, man. You can tell these dudes, they look at this nigga. Look at these niggas, man. Yo, man, look at these dudes, man. They not in their right state of mind, man. Goddamn wicked Pharisees back again, man. Out of their mind, man. Linking up with the Herodians, man. Linking up with Trump, a.k.a. Nero, man. But let me show you how Paul did it, all right? I'm going to wrap it up soon. Just want to bring this out. This is the book of Acts, real quick. I want to get the book of Acts, the 22nd chapter, real quick. Real quick. The 22nd chapter and the 24th verse, all right? It says, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. It says, I'm going to read it in the NOT. It says, the commander brought Paul inside and ordered him lashed with whips to make him confess his crime. He wanted to find out why the crowd had become so furious. When they tied Paul down to lash him, Paul said to the officer standing there, is it legal for you to whip a Roman citizen who has ever been tried? You know? So Paul was like Bruce Springsteen, you know? He was saying, I was born born in the USA. All right? That's being crafty. All right? Because we're not immigrants here. We was born in America. A lot of Israelites that live in North America right now. We was born here. So we have rights. We're not immigrants. We're not like these Palestinians that you using to bring in martial law. We was born here. It says, when they tied Paul down and lashed him, Paul said to the officer standing here, it is illegal for you to whip a Roman citizen who has not ever even been tried. Okay? When the officer heard this, he went to the commander and asked him, what are you doing? This man is a Roman citizen. This is the NLT. I'm at Acts 22, and I'm at 27 now. So the commander went over and asked Paul, tell me, are you a Roman citizen? Are you a USA? Are you from the United States of America, sir? And you got brothers that pay taxes. All right, we have certain rights, man. We got to be blameless. And Esau don't have to honor it, but we still got to put it out there. That's what it means to be wise as a serpent. It says, so the commander went over and asked Paul, verse 27, tell me, are you a Roman citizen? Yes, I certainly am, Paul replied. I am too, the commander muttered, and it cost me plenty. Paul answered, but I'm a citizen by birth. You see that? We was born here, all right? And when you steal goods, there's not a return on policy. You stole us from our land, right? We don't know where to go. We don't know we don't know nothing, all right? And this is where we at. This is where we built up. And you can't return. There's no return on policy if you go in the store and steal a goddamn TV. You know what you're going to do when you try to return? You're going to get arrested, man. So y'all got to deal with us here. And we have the right to talk about the injustice and the wrong that we went through, man. And them Jews they got to pay for that, man. That got to be addressed. Okay? It says, the soldiers who were about to interrogate Paul quickly withdrew when they heard he was a Roman citizen. You see? So Paul used subtlety. He used serpent-like ability, man, by him pulling out his citizenship. And the commander was frightened because he had ordered him bound and whipped. The next day, the commander ordered the leading priest into session with the Jewish High Council. He wanted to find out what the trouble was all about, so he released Paul to have him stand before them. Okay? All right? So you got to learn how to use your mouth, all right, like a serpent, man, and at the same time be harmless as a dove. It says for Luke 21:15, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom. That's what Paul had, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist, man. These people shouldn't be able to gainsay nor resist, man. The words that's coming out your mouth, man. As a Hebrew Israelite, we are not on record for doing anything wrong. All we do is go out on the highways and byways and preach the truth, man. And the truth hurts. That's a saying. All right? This is Proverbs 16:7. It says, when a man ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him, man. All right? You know how hard it is for your sworn enemies to be at peace with you, man? Okay? Didn't the Most High say, I will cause enmity between their seed and your seed to make them be at peace with you, man? That is serpent-like ability, man. As dangerous as snakes are, you still got people that will pick a snake up and play with a goddamn snake. As dangerous as a snake is, you got venomous snakes. Dudes is playing the flutes to trying to mesmerize a snake and make it dance. That snake will kill you, man. So when your ways please the Most High, man, even your enemies could be at peace with thee. And that's what Paul shown, man. Okay? This is another count of Paul, all right, using serpent-like ability. It says, I'm going to read in the NLT. This is Acts 25:1. It says, 3 days after Festus arrived in Caesarea to take over his new responsibility, he left for Jerusalem. Acts 25:1, verse 2, where the leading priests and other Jewish leaders met with him and made their accusations against Paul. They asked Festus as a favor to transfer Paul to Jerusalem, planning to ambush and kill him on the way. So they was going to kill Paul, okay? But Festus replied that Paul was at Caesarea and he himself would be returning there soon. So he said, those of you in authority can return with me. If Paul has done anything wrong, you can make your accusation. About 8 or 10 days later, Festus returned to Caesarea, and on the following day, he took his seat in court in order that Paul be brought in. When Paul arrived, the Jewish leaders from Jerusalem gathered around and made serious accusations they could not prove. Paul denied the charges. I am not guilty of any crime against the Jewish laws or the temple or the Roman government. Then Festus, wanting to please the Jews, asked them, are you willing to go to Jerusalem and stand trial before me there? But Paul replied, no, this is the official Roman court, so I ought to be tried right here. That's serpent-like wisdom, man. You know very well I am not guilty of harming the Jews. If I have done something worthy of death, I don't refuse to die. If I did something wrong, I'm not afraid to die. But if I'm innocent, no one has the right to turn me over to these men to kill me. I appeal to Caesar. And it's fucked up that Paul felt more comfortable dealing with a damn demonic heathen Edomite than dealing with his own people, man. Festus, verse 12, Festus conferred with advisors and then replied, very well, you have appealed to Caesar, and to Caesar you will go. So how did Paul use subtlety right there? He used his Roman citizenship. Okay? Once again, this is the last precept. This is Psalm 37 and 12. It says, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Okay? All right? They plotting against us. All they swords, all they tax dollars, all they energy is focused on us Israelites, man. They have no life. As much as they hate Kyrie Irving, he could put on that Dallas Mavericks uniform and they forget about that. Just 2 years ago, they was hating Kyrie Irving. Now they cheering, oh, he's the best, he's doing this, when they beat the LA Clippers this week. They plotting against us, man. They gnashing upon him with his teeth. Verse 13, the Lord shall laugh at him, for ye see that his day is coming, right? Your judgment is coming, Esau, and the Lord is laughing at you behind the scenes. The wicked have drawn out swords and have bent their bows to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be upright conversation. They want to slay the men that are of upright conversation. We have made ourselves a prey. These dudes, they got whole investigation teams assigned to the Hebrew Israelites, man. They're spending tax-paying dollars just to find any type of dirt on brothers, man. Verse 15, Psalm 37:15. Their swords shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So everything you doing, all these laws that you passing, is going to destroy you at the end of the day. Because now we're not going to say the J word no more. We're going to say Esau. And then people are going to say, well, who the Edomites? Who's Esau? So you're going to expose yourself, man. Verse 16, a little that a righteous men have is better than the riches of many wicked. All right? So Esau, you keep the pizza. We just going to take the crust. Our crust is blessed. All right? You can keep the cheese. You can keep the pasta, the garlic, the onions, the anchovies, whatever. Because that's cursed. We're going to take the blessed crust. All right? That's the little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked, man. You can keep the big galactical buildings, the yachts, you know, the social media platform, technology. All right? We're going to keep the crust and our faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. It says, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous, man. Amen. The arms of the wicked will be broken, man. You're going to pay for all the dirt and murder and robbery you did, man. Hey, with that being said, Kahalal Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua Brakatah, B'Shem Rakatah, Shalom.